How'd you like that fire? It's nothing like a good fire, is there? Man, it just like clears your head just watching it burn. It's as old as time. Well, welcome back to Travels with Carl. As you can tell, I'm not in Carl today. I'm actually in Mini Driver, my little Mini Cooper. The reason being is that I had to run to I had to do 2 errands, but I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to shoot it right here in the parking lot as I get ready to go do a little mandatory shopping. I got a project for the next 3 weeks that's going to be educational and inspirational at the same time, I hope. But you know what? This is week number 17. And not only do I not have a painting, I don't even have a drawing. And you want to know why? This is going to blow your mind. When I finished Lahaina Welding Company, number 16, I thought that I knew for sure what job number 17 was, also on Maui. But as I got closer as Saturday got closer and I was still fighting that horrible cold, man, I apologize for the last episode. That was really subpar. Let's just say that. It was subpar, so bad that I actually reshot it. And it was still bad, even after the second attempt. But, you know, I've said this before, and if you watch from the beginning, you'll remember I said I like to try to embrace my mistakes in my artwork. And this is artwork. This is a video, performance art, documentary, you know, maybe not like Ken Burns style, but Rich Van Gogh style, YouTube style. Anyway, I realized, hey, there's a doubt in my mind about which one of these jobs came first, because I either worked one job and then I did another. The next job is 2 years. It's a big one, okay? Or I worked 2 jobs or 3 jobs and the next big one is 2 years. Okay, we know about that one. Not going to disclose it. You know, anybody that knows me probably, or knows a little bit about me, has probably figured that one out already, but I wasn't doing time, in case you can cross that off. But I decided, let me do some research and look back at my Social Security, my earnings statements, and my see if I could get a look at my W-2s. The year in question is 1985, okay? I'm sorry, it's 1985, because I moved to Maui. I'm sorry, I did it again. It's 86. The year I moved to Maui, May 1st of 1986, and I'll never forget that date, because May Day in Hawaii is a special holiday. It's actually called Lei Day, as well as May Day, but it's mainly called Lei Day, and everybody wears a lei, you know, and it's May 1st. It's got nothing to do with the traditional May Day, as far as I know, and I don't even know why it's... anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that. I have no idea why it is a holiday in Hawaii, but it is. It's a big one, and everybody wears a lei. So I moved there, and I know I left the island that time, my first time moving to Hawaii, December of 86. I know that for a fact. And I know that I worked at the Pioneer Inn, and I worked at Lahaina Welding. And I know at some point there, I moved from West Maui to Kahului. Actually, I moved to Wailuku first and then Kahului. So the job that I thought was next was in Ka'anapali on West Maui, just above Lahaina, where all the 8 or 9 big resorts were part of the AmFact project, which started in the 70s, and it was hugely successful. But those were the first big resorts, the first world-class resorts built on Maui. Or about, let me call them chains, like the first Westin, Sheraton, those kind of big properties. First world properties, let me say that, okay? Because a lot of what was going on in Hawaii before that happened, I'm just going to have to say it, it's pretty much third world. And Hawaii went from Stone Age to Jet Age overnight. They skipped all the other ones. They went straight from Stone Age culture to Jet Age. Okay, and that's not an easy or a comfortable thing to do for any civilization. So anyway, what I'm getting at is this, Travels with Carl, like I keep saying, is a lot of different things. It's about me, okay? That's the most important thing, because it's always about me. But I'm joking. But the other thing is that it's about art, and it's about travel. It's Travels with Carl. Carl's my motorhome. It's about Carl a little bit. Carl's a player. But it has to do, the thread that runs through this thing is, how does a person survive in the 20th and 21st century as an artist in the United States of America, okay? Because America claims to be super supportive of the arts and everything, but it's really not. You're on your own. You're going to be a dancer, a musician, a writer, a fine artist, a painter, a printmaker, any one of those things in the creative arts. You're on your own. Okay, there's no backup plan. There's no benefits package. Okay, if you really want to go for the Super Bowl in any one of those categories that I just listed in America, it's not easy. And if you don't make it, if you only make it to, say, like the AAA, like me, again, the future's still ours to see, right? We don't know what's coming up. I can still make it. That's the beautiful thing about fine art, unlike dancing or piano. If you don't make it within a certain time frame, you're going to have to switch to a different kind of creativity, because your body, you're not going to be in the ballet, when you're my age, okay? I mean, unless it's comedy, and the piano, you're just not going to have the chops. You could noodle around. You might be able to pull it off. Depends what kind of piano, but you're not going to play classical piano, okay? That ship sailed. But anyway, so today is Sunday. I had to put it off another day because I wanted to try to determine which job was actually 17, because I want to be true to myself, but I also want to be true to this. Now, if I omit a job because it's not worthy, or it's too small, or I only worked it for a week or something like that, I may opt to leave it out completely. Okay, that's different. If I say this job was before this job, I can't live with that. I can't put these jobs out of order, and I'm not certain what the order is. So I'm going to have to call the Social Security office tomorrow and get them to give me my W-2s for 86 and 89. That'll clear this up altogether, because, like I said, Travels with Carl is about a lot of things. It's about being an artist. It's about surviving as an artist in the United States, working different jobs, which is, it's kind of the thread that runs through this whole thing. I had to work over 50 jobs to pull it off, and I'm still working, okay? Still trying to make it into the major leagues. Still trying to get that Super Bowl ring, baby. But here's the thing, what I realized, I had an epiphany yesterday. But aside from the fact of realizing I was going to have to wait until Monday, I was going to still have to do episode 17, but this is going to get uploaded tonight, and it is going to be episode 17. But when I figure out what job 17 is, I'm going to re-edit this video, okay, so I can add that segment to it. I'm getting better at this. I downloaded iMovie Tutor program. It's going to help a lot. I still need you if you're out there and you want to make some, get a side hustle going. I still need somebody to do my social media, to do Travels with Carl, to do all my links and all of that stuff. I'll pay you. I need you. And if you can help me blow the channel up, Kristen Wilson, Travels with Kristen, Joseph Marsh, and Andre, Farmer for Fun. Those are my two most biggest inspirations, those two YouTube channels. You guys can help me out, help the brother out, help me blow up. I don't need to make, the kind of money you guys are making. Just a, couple grand a month would be super helpful, okay? But let me get back to, I had an epiphany yesterday while I was in anguish over this, and I realized, wow, Travels with Carl is also about the mental health. It's about a lot of things. It's about our social, economic, and social issues in the United States, which I'm a U.S. citizen through and through, man. I mean, I own a piece of property in Portugal now, so I'm destined to be an expat growing cherries. I think I can let that slip out because, I think I can. Portugal's part of the game plan. Everybody knows that already. So I don't think I've slipped anything out about jobs, but I guess I'll have to consider that a job, but we're not going to talk about that right yet. But I had an epiphany about the different paths in our life and the roads that we choose, okay? And this has to do with these jobs, okay, and mental health. I don't have any problem remembering my first job, T&R Deli, 1969. I was 12 years old. But I think I know that I mentioned when I moved to Maui the first time, I had just lost my brother to suicide, and I was really I had struggled with deep depression and other mental health issues, mainly depression and anxiety, all my life from my earliest memories. But when I lost my brother, that was like it was more than I could cope with. Okay, it was so much more. I can't even describe how much more, but it was like I entered into another road. I went down another road that I didn't even know existed. It was a road that was paved with a sort of a surface that wouldn't let you back up. Okay, there was something that had happened, kind of a speed bump in my life that had happened that was going to affect the road that I was traveling on for the rest of my life. We do have these kind of things occur in our lifetime, and then that for me was one of them. And I think that's worthy of YouTube time, okay? It's worthy for episode 17 to discuss why I can't remember the order of those jobs. It had something to do with the extreme stress and mental. I think a crow just landed on my sunroof, but it's so cool. I love crows. I don't know. I've kind of turned into a Birdman of Alcatraz, but I realized or I believed at the time when I moved to Hawaii, that I might be able to hang on to my mind by letting go of my mind, by self-medicating more than I already had, drinking myself into oblivion, and being in a beautiful place like Hawaii where I could just say, fuck it, I'm fucking Jimmy Buffett, fuck you, and tune in and tune out, and drop out. Okay, like the mantra for the 60s, it was my time, it was my turn to turn on and drop out. I do believe to this day that was a successful and correct decision. Again, when I talk about stuff like this, I'm not advocating anyone use drugs or alcohol, and certainly self-medication today is not the same as it was then. There's a lot better ways to get help for mental health today than existed especially during my early childhood. But I had an epiphany, and here's what it is. The path that we choose, the road that we go down, doesn't so much shape the future, it shapes the past. And I realized that because once something belongs to yesterday, once you've worked at the Lahaina Welding Company and you don't work there anymore, does that shape the future? It might. We don't know that yet, but it defines the past. It absolutely, in concrete, in granite stone, sets the past. And you cannot change the past. Pretty wild, right? Pretty wild thought. I'll give you an example. During the 1980, I was thinking about transferring to California College of Arts and Crafts, which, as you know, I already did. So that shaped my past, right? Had a lot to do with my future too, but it was a part of my past once I graduated. But between Philadelphia College of Art and California College of Art, a friend of mine had started a business in Manhattan delivering marijuana by bicycle. It's called We Deliver. My friend Todd, okay, he came up with this idea that it still wasn't even decriminalized yet, but it was considered, especially in New York, where crime was really, they have real crime in New York. But anyway, the plan was that, if somebody got pinched, they'd get bailed out. It wasn't going to be like you were going to do big time. But the reason I didn't take that job is if you get arrested in New York, any one of the 5 boroughs, you're going to Rikers. And Rikers Island it doesn't have a warm and fuzzy feel about it, okay? It's a tough motherfucking jail, okay? But that's where you're going to go until you get bailed out. And I joked around my friend. I said, so how long is it going to take for you to get me out of Rikers? I said, because I can't do no time at Rikers, man. That's fucking grown-up shit there. Anyway, I didn't take that job. I would have had a chance to live in the Chelsea Hotel. Okay, that's never going to happen now. The Chelsea Hotel, it closed. And I think, actually, they show it on the intro to Saturday Night Live now. I don't know if they actually redid it or not, but it is just like this fabulously glorious part of the Chelsea district. The Chelsea district was named after the Chelsea Hotel, or the other way around, I don't know, but the Chelsea Hotel is famous. I mean, Sid Vicious lived there, and all kinds of famous I think it was Tom Wolfe lived there, and all kinds of famous writers and musicians lived there, and I did not take that job. Okay, I look back at that time and wish I'd have lived in New York, but I don't regret that I didn't take that job. Okay, I regret that I didn't get the opportunity to live in the Chelsea Hotel and live in Manhattan in 1980. That I regret. But that's okay. There's other things in my life that I regret, and there's, and if I'd have gotten pinched and gone to Rikers, who knows, I might have lost an eye in there, right? It's fucked up place, but I didn't want to take that chance. But that didn't shape my future as much as it shaped my past. Like, I still have an opportunity to live in New York if I want to, and go to Ray's Pizza and stuff like that, and but it's not, it's different. You know what I'm saying? But it shaped my past. It set a chapter in my life in stone. That didn't happen, but other things did. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of an epiphany about how much the road that we choose determines our past. I believe more than it determines our future. So once I get on the horn tomorrow and I figure out what my 17th job was, I'll get that painting knocked out. I'll drop it in here. I'll edit that in, and I'll delete this one and repost it. I figured out how to do that. I save all the segments in another folder, and then boom, can reopen them, pop them in there, add that one with the painting, and Bob's your uncle. All right, I'm going to knock out this shopping right now. I'm at the old Safeway here on Highway 99 in Linwood. I'm going to knock out this shopping, and then I'm actually going to go sit by the fire again. I'm glad you enjoyed that little bit of the last fire I filmed there, and I'm excited because after we get through this next couple episodes, we're going to have a job that extends through a 2-year period of my life. One of the longest jobs I ever had in my life. I had a contract on it, so I didn't have any choice about that once I signed that document. But until then, my friends, until next week, I love you. I miss you. Please like and subscribe this, and if you can share and you can share this, that'll help immensely. But comment, post, you can ring the bell if you want to. I think I have like 17 subscribers, so we need to step it up. But it's not your fault, it's my fault. But you can help the brother out if you want to. I appreciate it. And let's ride.
Surrounded by the beast, the birds and the breeze, his motor home in the woods where creativity sees. Sun will the boat, colors come alive on canvas. He paints, pressing on his strife with the spirits of the woods. He dances in delight, creating masterpieces every single